Let's do Musk while I'm feeling loose, because I was saying to Matt, that dude pisses me the fuck off. I have a hard time sometimes saying much about Elon Musk other than the fact that he drives me nuts. Not only the fact because he's a bloated billionaire, a glorified government contractor, but the cult of people around him is exhausting. The fact that he's like sticking his fingers in like Texas politics right now is exhausting. I don't know. He drives me crazy. And this one, I think is pretty exceptional even for Elon Musk. So let me share this with y'all. This happened, this is a tweet thing, but the media loves to cover this stuff and it becomes serious very quickly. So CNN produced a story where they interviewed the head of the UN World Food Program about, food scarcity and poverty. And he made a note, the head of the World Food Program. We'll get into a little bit about him in a moment. But the CNN Business put out a story that says 2% of Elon Musk's wealth could solve world hunger, says director of UN Food Scarcity Organization, right? And this guy, Dr. Eli David, who's a researcher, lecturer, and founder at the Deep, let's get this right, the Deep Instinct.
What?
EDR is not enough. Stop responding. Stop preventing. I don't know. Let's not spend too much time here.
Okay, yeah.
But he's running interference for little Elon here, saying 2% of Elon Musk's wealth is $6 billion. In 2020, the UN World Food Program rates $8.4 billion. How come it didn't solve world hunger? And Elon Musk confidently sprints in here and says, if the World Food Program can describe on this Twitter thread exactly how $6 billion will solve world hunger, I will sell Tesla stock right now and do it. But it must, and this is where it gets really nasty, but it must be open source accounting so the public sees precisely how the money is spent. And like maybe... we'll get right into the response in just a second. Let's just stop right there and talk about how disgusting it is, just as a kind of, I don't know, concept, to watch somebody like Elon Musk, hang $6 billion over, hungry and needy people on a Twitter challenge, right? Like, if you successfully pass this test that I'm putting up in front of you, I will contribute and I will help out benefiting humanity, right?
Feed people.
It's just so nasty. And the second aspect, which I think is equally disgusting, is this kind of insinuation, which he's going to double down about later. And for all of these just clapping incels who are just losing their mind by everything that Elon Musk does. But this insinuation that the United Nations, which is not a perfect organization by any stretch of the imagination, but the insinuation that the reason that we haven't dealt with, poverty and hunger across the globe is that there's sloppy bookkeeping at the United Nations, right? I don't know. It's just such a nasty kind of insinuation to me.
Yeah.
Let's go on here.
I mean, speaking of just open accounting, it's some Scandinavian country that basically has it published how much people make every year.
Yeah,
that's just public information. That's the kind of that's open accounting I want. I want to know exactly how much is going in and out of rich people's bank accounts. That's open accounting to me.
We'll talk about some of the money that went in Elon Musk's bank account in a second, but let's just sort of recap this thing. And this is David Beasley, who is the, let's get the title right, the director of the UN World Food Program, former governor, Republican governor of South Carolina, sort of like getting to, to feel his humanitarian side now. But him responding to this challenge, saying, Elon, headline, not accurate. $6 billion will not solve world hunger, but it will prevent geopolitical instability, mass migration, and save 42 million people on the brink of starvation. Unprecedented crisis, a perfect storm due to COVID, conflict, climate crises. David Beasley says, with your help, we can bring hope, stability, and change. The future, let's talk. It isn't as complicated as Falcon Heavy, but too much at stake. So fucking Chris. But too much at stake, not at least have a conversation. I could be on the next flight to you. Throw me out if you don't like what you hear. And Elon Musk, who had no intention ever of providing money that would help people, responds and says, please publish your current and proposed spending in detail so people can see exactly where money goes. Sunlight is a wonderful thing. Again, just extremely cynical. All the while, Elon Musk has been sort of throwing a temper tantrum for the past few days about taxing wealthy people in the U.S., making the argument that he is much better suited to be in control of what he calls productive assets than the government or society. I mean, this guy is somebody who has contempt for you, and he certainly has contempt for people who are struggling and starving across the globe.
I mean, contempt and almost like a sociopathic disregard. He doesn't even understand the significance of his supposed offer to say like, oh, I'll put a significant dent in people being hungry on this planet. Because he didn't even it was never a real thing to him. It was a bludgeon with which to make a point about actual bureaucracy in like the United Nations, which I mean it's super fucking disgusting, but it's a lesson to everybody at the UN. Like, these motherfuckers, you can't just ask them for this shit. Like, right? Well, like, yeah.
No, you're right. I mean, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I don't have much more to say than that. I mean, this is the problem, is like, you just want to be like, fuck you, motherfuckers.
Well, no, for sure. But it's like, also, the thing is, this guy, Beasley, is not somebody who is a radical by any stretch of the imagination. Again, he's a Republican governor of South Carolina. And right. Matt, you had this clip here. I hadn't seen this before, but this is him sort of talking about this for a second. And does this seem like somebody who's wanting to cause a lot of trouble for rich people? Let's play this right here.
On a smallish cohort of individuals that you say can help end this crisis. US billionaires alone have gotten over $1 trillion richer during the pandemic. You're asking those billionaires who are going to space, the likes of Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, to help. Are they helping?
The governments are tapped out. And this is why, and this is when the billionaires need to step up now on a one-time basis, $6 billion to help 42 million people that are literally going to die if we don't reach them. It's not complicated. And this is what's heartbreaking. I'm not asking them to do this every day, every week, every year. We have a one-time crisis, a perfect storm of conflict, climate change, and COVID. It's a one-time phenomenon. I've got 43 nations with 42 million people in IPC level 4 knocking on famine's door. Just help me with them one time. That's a $6 billion price tag. Jeff Bezos' net worth increase just last year during COVID was $64 billion. I'm just asking for 10% of your net worth increase. Just last week, Elon Musk had a $6 billion net worth increase one day. One day. The 400, there's a bunch of them, but just 400, the top 400 billionaires in the United States, the net worth increase was $1.8 trillion.
You're so muted, buddy. But
very reasonable points there.
Yeah.
But again, not like super radical, like you can be the hero. I mean, this is like, I don't know, pretty squishy, progressive stuff, right?
I think it's groveling and pathetic. Like, honestly,
I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
But that's what happens with charity, right? I mean, because it's like these people control all the resources. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about sunshine, because what we're seeing, this kind of groveling from world government organizations like the United Nations to Elon Musk over sums of, something like $6 billion from him. Elon Musk says sunlight is a wonderful thing. Let me remind people that Elon Musk's wealth and success is predicated on United States government actions. It was when the United States under Obama bailed out Tesla at a critical moment in the company's history.
A third of $1 billion loan, I think it was.
From 2015, Elon Musk personally and the companies that he runs have benefited over $5 billion in the United States subsidies and tax incentives, right? So when we're talking about the $6 billion that Elon Musk is getting super fucking precious about, that he can't sort of cough up, and he's trying to make people do song and dances. And by the way, Not only is he just a fucking nasty little troll and a nasty man by doing that in the first place, David Beasley dances for him, right? And Elon Musk continues with it. And I don't want to spend time reading Musk's Twitter shit because it drives me too crazy. As I was saying before, Matt, the steam engine is like running out right now before I start to get real pissed again. Like, I don't want to spend too much time going through his Twitter, but he's been spending like the past 5 days complaining about this shit, right? And it's still on his mind, and he's saying, well, nope, nobody's come up with me with this detailed plan that I'm just putting up arbitrarily. Again, I want to know, we are entitled to every fucking thing that this asshole has, right? But beyond that, just on the very specific nuts and bolts, $6 billion, the U.S. government has personally benefited him nearly $5 billion, along with all of the fucking bullshit contracts that he's gotten. That's public money that he shouldn't be acting super fucking precious about, that he can't be looking out for people who are most needy at a crisis like this.